Welcome, friends, to week 4 of Breakup to Boss Babe. So today we are talking about self-coaching. This is so important, you guys. So I've taught you a number and a plethora of tools so far, and the biggest one being the model, right? And so the whole reason, and one of the biggest things that is so important to me for you, is that I want you to leave these 12 weeks and know how to self-coach yourself. I want you to be able to be your own coach. I don't want you to need me forever. I love you, and I will have you forever as a client if you want to. But I want you to get to the point where you can totally self-coach yourself and you know how to use these tools just as good as I do. So today we're deep diving into self-coaching because it's gonna be the underlying tool that you use for the rest of the program. So we outline the model, we look through all of that. That's all in the content in your email. And today I just want to quickly walk through why self-coaching is so important, right? Which we just talked about. And then also what your daily activity is going to be, because we're about to do something really crazy. We're going to start moving into intentional models. So what I've been having you do so far is looking at what your unintentional models are, your defaults, what your brain just is wired to do automatically based off of your past experiences and beliefs that you've built up over time. What we're gonna start doing now is rewiring your brain. You have to have patience with yourself and you have to have your compassion with yourself throughout this entire process. Because here's what it looks like in your brain. You have multiple neural pathways and they're like different train tracks. Some of them, the train's moving on all the time. It's like a very heavily used highway, right? And those are those unintentional thoughts. Those are those unintentional and the default thoughts that your brain automatically goes to. So it's a super smooth trail. It's super easy. When we start building intentional models and intentional thoughts, you're gonna have to start going down the trails that look like something you might go hiking on. And you're gonna have to cut down all the brush. You're going to have to clear the paveway. You're gonna have to back up the train. You're gonna have to lay the train tracks. You're gonna have to purposefully tell the train to go in that direction multiple times before it will become your automatic and your default. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna have these unintentional models, and it's so important that before you move into your intentional model that you question the unintentional model. You have to wiggle it loose and you have to have your brain see that it's not the model that you wanna choose anymore. You have to see that first. Then once you see that, then we can start creating an intentional model, and that will help you have a thought and a belief that you can go to when you want to start changing your mindset to create different feelings, to create different results. Let's get to it. So I want you to, your daily exercise will be doing a TDL, right? A thought download, and then you're going to write out an unintentional model. When you do that, there are 2 questions that I want you to ask yourself before you move on to the intentional model. 1, do you see that C as neutral? Do you see the facts of the situation as neutral? Why or why not? This is so important, right? So if your circumstance is your breakup and you don't see that as neutral, you can't use it. Or you have to figure out a way that you could find that it is neutral. How might someone else think about it, right? Is it factsy enough? Your circumstances and the facts in the world are always neutral. So do you see your C as neutral? And then, is your T optional? Do you notice that the thought that you're choosing is actually optional? Because all thoughts are optional. All of them. We decide whether or not we are going to focus on that thought or not. So do you see your thought as optional? Okay, then you can move into your intentional model, and I'll give you a series of questions to help you walk through the intentional model. But at a high level, right, you're going to want to figure out what you want your result to be or your thought. What you want your result to be or your feeling. So if you're wanting to feel motivated, what do you need to believe to feel motivated? If you want a result of being over your ex, how does the person who's over their ex act and show up? How does she feel? What is she thinking and believing, right? So you're gonna work backwards through the model to come up with your intentional model. You're gonna do this every day. It takes a lot of practice. So practice, practice, practice. Do multiple models in a day if you want. But at the very minimum, I want you doing 1 unintentional and 1 intentional model. All right, ladies, go out there and be the boss babes that I know you are.